Oh, now it's on.
Check,
Oh,
check,
now
check.
it's, now it's on.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Scoot on back. Scoot on back.
hang on. All right. Can you hear us? Oh, hang on. There you go. All right.
Scoot on back. Scoot on back.
Hang on. Check, check, check.
They can hear us. Don't worry, man.
Pentagon, come through. All right, I'm just gonna take this out.
Yeah, we don't need headphones.
All right. Microphone check 1 2. All right, we're coming in.
This mess is too low. I'm gonna.
We can just kind of put it up every.
This is the movie we're talking about here.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My name is Austin.
My name is Josiah.
And we are the Super Cinema Bros. Coming to you live and direct, reading straight out the cinematic survivor scrolls. We are in person.
This fan is right here with me.
We
in actuality.
He's come to my part of town.
That's right.
So we're not gonna say exactly where we're at. Mm-hmm. We might let you guys know where we're at. It might be obvious. We might post something later on this week. We'll see. We'll see. All right. But yeah, we are live. Because he's in town, number one, and out of necessity, because our normal setup is not possible given our circumstances. So we're doing this way. So we're at the mercy of the lighting situation and everything. So
very much
again,
so.
It's not our normal setup. So please bear with us.
Completely guerrilla style.
Yes, we're doing guerrilla style tonight. Mm-hmm. So on the docket this evening, we have. Go ahead and open that up for me.
Just a little movie.
All right.
Ooh. Oh. IMAX.
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
The latest film by Christopher Nolan. Let me do this real quick. Go ahead and talk for a second, and I'm going to get this going.
So apparently this was a poster that they gave out at IMAX screenings. I don't know which IMAX screenings. I went to like one of the premier IMAX theaters up in the LA area. Did not get this. Goodness gracious. How was this stolen? I feel like I paid so much money. I was owed an IMAX ratio poster. Like, goodness gracious.
Here we go.
It's cool. I'm glad all y'all that got the poster. Didn't have it for me. Enjoy the poster. Sure looks great on the wall. Enjoy that, square IMAX accurate ratio. 70 millimeter full IMAX ratio situation. It was nice. Yeah. So in a undisclosed location with Austin on over here, but watched the movie a couple days ago. Y'all hopefully saw our impressions very briefly. Kept it real short. Kept it packed full of information, as you know. But yeah, Christopher Nolan filmed this one entirely with IMAX cameras. I'm sure you've seen a million different videos online of him creating a blimp system, apparently for them to encase the IMAX camera because they're such loud cameras. Acting with it is just unconscionable pretty much, and almost near impossible because of how loud they are to try and record live audio. So they created this blimping system to like muffle the sound, and they create some sort of mirror system so one actor can see the other actor on the other side of the camera. Yeah, bunch of stuff. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 hours and 40 some minutes of an IMAX movie completely in IMAX. Yeah. I remember back in the days when it was just like the Science Center, had IMAX movies of of
yeah,
nature.
yeah. The big giant thing, the
Yeah.
planetarium kind of screen. That was the original intended format for IMAX when we were kids.
Yeah.
Following
around, sea turtles and stuff like that. I think there was maybe like a space Hubble telescope one or something like that. Yeah.
A lot of space and underwater stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically what IMAX was intended for at a museum.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is on IMAX. I think there's some controversy as to like what true IMAX standard is. I saw some video about it. There's some disagreement as to what constitutes true IMAX. Whatever. It's marketed as IMAX. We're just going to call it IMAX. Whatever. It's fine. All right. So
I don't even know what this disagreement is. I mean, it's like you film it on with IMAX cameras.
I think it has to do with like the size, the aspect ratio, and the screens.
Yeah.
And the resolution.
Oh, you're talking about the theaters themselves.
Yes, the theaters themselves. There's like there's some controversy. Some really hardcore film people are like have made videos about it. This isn't real IMAX.
Yeah.
I don't feel strongly about it. It's whatever. So IMAX is cool. I like IMAX. It's fine.
I mean, most of the time, even though you're not seeing it maybe on the biggest screen possible, if you don't have the true IMAX, I still feel like the resolution is going to be good enough, like as good as it should be, especially if it's. I mean, we're in a day and age where like digital projectors like should be able to impart like an accurate level of resolution similar to IMAX.
Right.
Now the real IMAX film projectors are going to be the best. But like, come on.
Yeah.
Are we really going to be frustrated and disappointed over the story of a movie just because you can't see it like as crisply as possible?
Probably not. How does this?
Oh yeah. Just tilt it down. Y'all know what we're talking about, anyways.
Yeah. All right. So here, let's get started. Let me read the synopsis.
Go ahead.
All right. Here we go. The Odyssey unfolds 20 years after its king Odysseus first departed for the Trojan War, told through a non-linear structure that weaves past and present together. In Ithaca, a horde of suitors has overtaken the palace, draining its resources and vying to marry the king's wife, Penelope, in his prolonged absence. Their son, now grown, sets out to learn what became of his father, while the film simultaneously traces Odysseus' own harrowing journey home, one marked by monstrous encounters, divine wrath, supernatural temptations, and staggering loss. As threads from the war, the voyage, and the crisis brewing back home converge, the story builds towards a reckoning that will determine the fate of a kingdom and a family that has waited 2 decades for answers. The film is a meditation on the cost of survival and the long shadow cast by war on those who lived through it. It grapples with guilt and moral reckoning as a man haunted by his own choices confronts what he's done in the name of victory and homecoming. Themes of identity and recognition run throughout, exploring what it means to return to a life and a family transformed by time and absence. At its core, the story asks what price is paid for glory, whether the past can ever be fully reconciled, and what it takes to rebuild peace and order after prolonged devastation. All right. So,
sweet.
Josiah, what are your initial thoughts before we get into spoiled territory?
Like you want to do speed runs here?
Oh, you know what? That's right. Yeah, you know what? Let's forego the thoughts. We'll do the speed run first, and then if there's anything worth mentioning before we get into spoiled territory, we'll just stick to our regular format. All right. Who wants to go first? We'll rock, paper, scissors for it. This is live and direct, ladies and gentlemen.
John Game Boy.
Wait.
Okay, I'm going first then. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So, hang on, let me.
Oh, sure. I'll. You can be in the frame. It's
No.
fine.
This way you can cut it and.
All right. There we go.
I'll just be photobombing.
All right, give me half a second, guys. Make it official. CM Punk versus The Rock. Saturday night's main event. Okay. Guys. Am I perfectly? Let me make the background a little more interesting for y'all. All right, let's do a little shifting and moving a little bit here. Oh, these are heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it asymmetrically. No, you're good. There we go. All right. Oh, what did I click? The Odyssey. This is Christopher Nolan's latest film. Been a long time coming. It's been forever since he made films like Oppenheimer, The Prestige, The Dark Knight, Interstellar, Memento, a million other various different things. 2026, newest film. A brand new story that he wrote completely on his own. This movie was terrible. No, this movie was entertaining. I wound up having a good time. People out there saying the beginning's a little bit slow. I can understand. The beginning is a little bit slow here and there. Ironically, it's probably the section where Tom Holland is in most of the time. No shade to his acting or anything like that. Looking forward to him in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Did well in here. Look, it's the Odyssey, okay? In passing, you probably know the story. All right. I haven't read the book, or probably an abridged version of the book, for 25 years or something like that. I mostly remember the story just, at a glance as it was happening. There were a couple moments here and there where I think because of that, I was a little bit bored. But I think the movie does such an excellent job overall within acting and piecing things together. It got me back invested. I was curious about what was going to happen, how it was going to be unfolded, how the cinematography, execution of things, music pulled me in. Look, unfortunately though, overall, this movie hasn't really stuck with me all that much. I've reflected on it a little bit, but man, walking out of The Dark Knight, walking out of Interstellar, walking out of a handful of other films, stuck with me a lot more. I don't even know what it is. This is not a bad movie. This is a good version of The Odyssey. I am not a diehard, knowledge bringer of The Odyssey and its everything that happens in it. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that feel like it just kind of, maybe did a lesser version of it or didn't understand source material. Fine. I got a couple gripes here and there. I agree with a few things, but do you wind up feeling the 2 hours and 40 some minutes? Yes and no. I think for me though, I was able to get invested in it. I wound up believing Matt Damon and crew as their characters. I wound up seeing their struggles. Do I like every development that they brought into the story? I don't know. Am I criticizing Homer or the more recent writing version that people believe Nolan based his film off of? I don't know. Whatever it was, as a film itself, I wind up enjoying it. I'm not rushing out to go watch it again, though. That might just be me, So I think this is worth checking out in theaters. If you already know the Odyssey is kind of boring for you, I don't know that you really need to check this out necessarily. Maybe wait for it to stream. Certainly not a complete skip it, but yeah, Odyssey. Matt Damon and crew had me intrigued most of the time. Bored a couple times. Yeah. See you guys. All right. Now,
all right.
This guy here is about to deliver his version.
All right. The Odyssey. This movie's all right. It's not bad. It kind of drags though. They could have shored up some parts. They could have trimmed it down quite a bit. The non-linear pacing is fine, but it could have just been linear. and that would have been just as good, maybe better. I don't know. But oh dear God. Oh my gosh. See, that's the kind of inception that we needed in this film. We needed that. Going back to Christopher Nolan. Okay, number one, big plus. Big plus for this movie being that it is a Christopher Nolan movie. I could understand the dialogue. The sound mixing was good.
That's true.
The sound, my man Josiah is agreeing with me. The sound mixing was great for a Christopher Nolan movie. After, my goodness, Oppenheimer and Tenet was especially egregious. But after those movies, getting a Christopher Nolan movie that you could just understand for the most part was a nice sigh of relief. So good for that. As far as the story, I'm going to assume that Nolan took some liberties here and there, but that the basic frame and the basic bones of the Odyssey are more or less intact. And so because he is working on adapting source material, you know, Homer's The Odyssey, it's an epic. Whatever gripes I have with character motivations and stuff like that, it's like, okay, whatever. But the movie itself is fine. It looks nice. I was explaining it to somebody earlier today, and the thing about it is, like, you know, it's shot on IMAX. It's large format. I saw it in 70 millimeter wide. And if you're ever going to do that, make sure you get your tickets really early so that you get your seat far enough back. I ended up having to see it in 70 millimeter footage, but I was sitting down by the front. And it didn't totally like mess up the whole thing, but I would have liked to have watched it further away. So that's just a moviegoer note. But other than that, the movie's fine. It tells the story fairly well. I just wish it was a little bit shorter. It didn't drag on as much as it did. But, you know, this is not Nolan's best film at all. It's maybe the most epic. It's so epic. That's what I was saying earlier when I was talking to my friend. Oh my goodness, it's so epic. It's so grand in scope. Oh my goodness. But for all of that grandeur, you get an okay movie. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Visually, it's a lovely looking film. It's fine. The acting is good. There's solid acting. Part of me wishes or feels like they should have been speaking in some kind of old English, or in some kind of stronger accent. And I'm not talking about a Boston accent for Matt Damon, but some kind of ancient sounding European Gaelic Englishman kind of accent or something. I don't know. I felt like pretty modern speech. You can see that they're trying to incorporate a little bit of like presentism. Penelope's speech about being on the throne as a woman sounds very 2017. I'm not saying it's bad. It didn't ruin the movie. You know, it's not the woke mind virus, blah, blah. It's not all of that. I'm not making that kind of argument. There are plenty of channels that will make that argument and talk to you about why this movie failed as a woke disaster. I'm not here for all that. The point is, this movie is an okay movie. It's fine. It looks really nice. It's a pretty decent movie. I'm not crazy about it, but I didn't hate it. I just wish it was a little bit shorter. So if you enjoy Christopher Nolan films, go check it out. I do want the Gen Xers, that's like Tarantino, there's Christopher Nolan and a couple other filmmakers. I want them to do their best work in the way that they want to do it for the sake of filmmaking and art. And so I want to support them because I feel like they've made more pluses than minuses. And if we don't support them, then we're just going to get another Fast and the Furious movie. So yeah, go check out the movie. On the scale of go see it, go stream it, skip it, I would say this is somewhere between see it and stream it. Yeah, I think it justifies going to see it in the theaters, especially if you like, if you like big epic visual spectacles. This movie will satisfy. It'll scratch that itch. So, yeah, The Odyssey. Go check it out. It's a decent movie. Just drink some coffee before you go watch it. Back to you, Josiah.
Hey, all right.
All right.
I am back.
So we're going to get back into our seated positions. Okay, we got Keep It Real, It's Real 2026. Welcome back. Good to see you. Because of our setup right now, I can't. Don DeMarco. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. And,
showing up.
as you know, our heart goes out to you and everything that's going on.
Indeed.
Our heart goes out to you. So we're really glad to see you back.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for all your support. And yeah, welcome.
Sweet.
Yeah, it definitely has been a minute. So yeah, it's good to see you. And yeah, absolutely, my man. We appreciate you as well. That's you.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So anything you want to discuss or say before we get into spoiler territory?
Before the spoilers section here. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So I did wind up checking this out on 70 millimeter IMAX.
As did I.
Yeah. I got to see it at one of the screens as well. That fully depicted. I wonder. Yeah. I mean, since we both saw it in that format.
By the way,
do you think it was absolutely necessary to see in that format? I know, go ahead.
No, I'll just no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, this film is single-handedly keeping PhotoChem, I believe.
Yeah.
Is the processing place.
Yeah.
That processes film, actual physical film. 70 millimeter IMAX film in particular is the only processing plant or company on the planet that processes IMAX 70 millimeter film. So
I think they're doing the color correction.
Yep.
It sounds like Nolan is digitally, they're filming it. They're getting a digitized version of their 3-minute reels, editing it digitally, and then having I guess code from the actual film matched with the clips that they're editing digitally.
They're just cutting, and
so that when they finish the digital editing, they can go and see what clips they need, and then PhotoChem is taking those clips, splicing them together, color correcting them, and making them into I think 41. There are 41 different screens around the world, basically, that was able to show this on film, 70 millimeter IMAX. These guys, it's crazy to think though. That the only one in the world doing it anymore. Yeah. Which there might not. I mean, since no one shot a film fully on IMAX, maybe there weren't that many to begin with.
Right.
Maybe there's some more places around the world that can do just a lower resolution version of just film. Maybe what 60 millimeter or something? I don't know what it'd be.
I don't know either.
35 millimeter. I know.
Yes, 35 millimeter. All that to say, this is a dying art form. This is going away. Future subsequent generations, unless they're just extraordinarily hyper niche, because this is all going to end up digital anyway. When it streams, we're not, maybe if you get some special edition Blu-ray or something like that. Otherwise, this is going away. Now, I do know that there are films that are shot digitally, and then they process them with film to kind of provide that. It's like they process it through film, and they put it on film reels to give it that film grain.
An aesthetic,
It's an aesthetic to remove the hyper sharpening of the hyper detailed output of a digital camera. Especially these cinema cameras that get just incredible. I remember watching the Knives Out movie. I was like, wow, this is currently the best that digital cameras offer currently, and it's really good. I like that kind of sharp, crisp, vibrant, punchy color look. Kind of made for Netflix look, for sure.
Yeah,
but that's not a bad thing. That's just because Netflix has very they only accept certain cameras for filming.
Yeah.
Some Red cameras, some ARRI cameras, some some really higher end Canon cameras and things like that. Some super high end Fujifilm cameras. So,
but there are a few things that come with film, at 30 frames per second, or that we are accustomed to when it comes to watching movies.
Yeah.
I've had a number of people talk to me that they went and see the, what was it, 48 frames Hobbit.
Yeah, because it looked like a Spanish soap opera.
Yeah, and this is all because we've come accustomed to be watching the 30 frames, 24 frames.
Right.
So similar that happens with the actual film, natural imperfections or just whatever natural things that the film attributes to a movie.
Right.
It winds up getting removed when you're just doing all digital and
right.
So, camera's able to get more and more of a perfect picture.
Right. So shout out to Peter Jackson, because he went to a television and film convention, like an industry convention, and he showed footage of The Hobbit or whatever. And people were talking that it made it look, the footage given, it made the outfits and the costumes look super fake.
Yeah.
It looked like it was Comic-Con cosplaying.
Yeah. Hey. What is up, Genobi 121? Sorry.
What's up, Genobi?
Yeah.
So what was I saying? So in the first iteration of super high definition, high frame rate, it's 48 frames per second, it looked like a clown show. And so what they realize is when you film at such high frame rates, you have to the wardrobe and the color of the wardrobe and the fabric have to be such that it's not so vibrant that it looks like The Sweet Life of Cody and Zach or whatever on the Disney Channel. It has to look like a film. It does, and a lot of that has to do with I don't know, film grade. What do you call it? You shoot in log and you color grade it a certain way because it has to look like a film. We are accustomed to things that look like a film. And that means generally it's 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
When you go 48 frames per second, it has that, it's too clinically perfect. And sometimes there's an uncanny valley that gets created, and your brain, because we've been so accustomed to what we've seen on television and film up to this point, it just looks like a Spanish soap opera. It just looks hyper fake and goofy and silly. And so, but shout out to Peter Jackson for taking the chance and doing that originally, because now everyone's kind of moving in that direction, and people's visual tastes are being accustomed to higher frame rates and things. Yeah. Now I think a lot of stuff is probably framed around 30 frames per second now, maybe on Netflix. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that's still 24 frames per second. And so, really interesting times for that. So to circle that all the way around, Nolan has made the conscious decision to do film. And what was it, 5 minutes per roll?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2-hour, 40-minute film. Somebody do the math on that. 3 minutes, and then divide two. Oh gosh. How many minutes is 2 hours, 40 minutes?
Oh, man, it's a crazy.
And then divide that by 3, and that's how many film canisters they had to do just to get the principal shooting.
And this film is heavy on top of the cameras being heavy, on top of having the blimps, on top of So,
oh my gosh. And then whatever they did for the special effects and the visual effects is pretty minor. There's a lot of practical effects, and we'll get into that.
I think he tried to do a lot of in camera, but with practical, old school Hollywood effects, potentially old school techniques in a modern day way. But there's still CG up in there.
There definitely is CG. Clearly there is, but shout out to him for because all that CG stuff had to be processed, I guess, independently and then put back onto the film.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
And my whole point in saying is that he's going out of his way and creating so much more work for himself.
I guess it had to be put back on the film somehow
to realize his vision using physical mediums that are all but, except for him and maybe Tarantino, completely obsolete. Because now everything's digital, everything's on a hard drive, and that makes life so much easier than walking around with these big Panavision canisters. You know what I'm saying? From yesteryear, they did that because that was the highest technology at the time. Now we don't have to worry about that, and so things like getting the dailies and all that stuff is just so much faster now. So shout out to Christopher Nolan for doing his thing. And
there was certainly a bankability benchmark for a director to be able to pull off doing it on IMAX.
I mean, he did it part way with Oppenheimer. There are chunks of Oppenheimer that were shot on IMAX.
Yeah. Going back to The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I think that was the first time with the intro sequence that he wound up doing. I'm messing around with IMAX
with The Dark Knight. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. So apparently this one was all shot on IMAX. So I mean, what he started in Oppenheimer, he just saw to completion and fruition with the Odyssey. Okay. So is it a dying art? But is it still cool that somebody's like really trying to do that? I think so. And apparently this movie the opening weekend it's already made a lot of money. So
actually, Keep It Real's hitting us with some numbers here. He's saying numbers for us: 250 million budget. First week, 263.7 million.
It's already made its money back.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think these are typically marketing and some of the other stuff. So I mean, look, already an accomplishment to make up like the filming budget, or
I think it'll make whatever it's spent in marketing. I think it'll make that money back as well.
Yeah.
So then whatever after that is just pure profit for the studio. And so, but that's a big milestone. That's a big,
that's a lot
milestone.
Yeah.
Milestone's not the word I'm looking for, but that's a big. I
think it's a bit of a milestone.
It's a milestone, but it's like the bar he had to clear. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. As far as box office viability, he's shown. I mean, yes, he's Christopher Nolan. Yes, he's made plenty of box office blockbusters, but this was a big deal because a lot's riding on the success of this movie in terms of is anybody ever going to try to do anything with IMAX film, given that you really don't need to do it.
That really comes down to how much the audience enjoyed the aesthetic that was achieved with doing it uniquely in this way. That's partially why I was like, before we get into spoilers, wanting to talk about like, was it absolutely necessary to see it in that 1.43 something like ratio?
It's cool. It's kind of like it's a format you would have watched Lawrence of Arabia in way back in the day, back when they had like the one screen theaters that just had so. Or something close to that. So,
from what I can tell, though, I don't think that he wound up not taking consideration that this film was going to be cut down, that the field of view was going to be narrower, more or less, potentially even like cut into the film. I think most of the time the center area of the film is where most of the action wound up happening.
I noticed that.
I noticed there were a number of moments where it felt like it could have been a close-up, but it was like a shot further out. But because it was shot on IMAX, it still worked for a close-up,
right?
Or even a medium shot, like long shot to like wide shot, medium shot.
Okay, so
medium shot to close-up.
Right. So he shot on like an IMAX. So just look at this as like, think of this as like the sensor size for the camera that they're using. So like full frame would be like here, right? 35 millimeter would be even smaller, right? And so, or Super 8 would be like right around 35 millimeter. Full frame is here, and then he's shooting with IMAX, which is like this gigantic sensor, large frame sensor. So in order, like normally it's more vertical. So this is a bit of an exaggeration, but like if you had like panoramic lenses or whatever, like at the end of old movies, you see the bars on the bottom because they were shooting with a panoramic lens to get that wide angle shot. He's shooting with like something like this, like the whole thing is in frame, right? And so
and they call it 15 perforations because there's 15 of the film perforations on top and bottom per shot.
So in terms of processing, that's crazy. That's just a whole lot of information to process, and when it plays on other screens, some of this stuff might get cut off, or you have to zoom in. I don't know if you've ever watched movies on TV. It's like this has been modified for it to be watched on TV. They would give like a little like PSA because maybe it's full screen for the theaters, but like TV screens, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, they're like these little box screens, and you're not going to get the whole thing. All right, so all that to say, this is very much from a technical standpoint a labor of love, and I appreciate that, while recognizing that it's probably not necessary. You can achieve the same look now with LUTs and with film grades.
Close. Yeah. It's an artificial recreation that probably gets pretty close. But I know one of the things that in the Photokin short that I was watching that he was wanting to achieve was like when it comes to the color. Yeah, and like in color grade in the film and applying colors and everything like that. With film, he's basically saying that there's like almost an infinite range of colors that you have access to. But then when it comes to like the digital version, you're limited to like how many the range of colors that could be recreated digitally.
Interesting. So you would think it would be the opposite. Yeah, that a physical medium would constrict and constrain your options for color grading. Apparently, and in digital, you can literally just plot it wherever you want on the color diagram, on the color, the RGB thing. You could adjust it. You can go full Man of Steel sepia tone, or you could do, super bright, crisp Benjamin Buttons, something like that, So to hear that it's actually more constrained with digital medium is interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think one of the connections of that, people will say that like film and its ability to capture light is maybe the closest that we can get to like the human eye and its ability to capture light. Human eye has like probably multiple times more ability to capture light than even in IMAX. Right. The sensor or whatever, but apparently the sensor is able to capture like a tremendous amount of data, and then even applying color to a digital film creates a near infinite range of colors that can be achieved. Yeah.
Okay. So let me, before we go, and it's worldwide. Christopher Nolan, you can bet his movies are making money. Yep. I've seen it twice, and the movie, and the people were screaming and howling for the movie. Okay. It gives people the illusion that they're in the scene themselves. Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah. We're glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. I think it's a solid movie. I just wish they kind of trimmed it down, but we'll talk about that. Yeah. Is there anything else we want to discuss? We had a nice, cool conversation about all the technical sides of it. Anything we want to cover before we jump into spoiler territory?
I guess just like putting a pin on what I was saying as far as the needing to see it on the the widest ratio. Like I saw in the widest ratio possible because I wanted to see what it was like. Yeah. I think the story still comes across. But yeah, undeniably there's going to be a certain level of immersion into the shots, into the scene, a little bit grander when you're seeing it on full IMAX. But I was saying, I think knowing that the screen is going to be cut down potentially, maybe restricted in a weird way to not be able to go as close on certain things. There might have been a natural restriction because of like how big the cameras were in the blimping system, whatever. But if you couldn't have done like an extreme close up, because if that would fill an IMAX ratio, because then you would wind up having like the character cut
in smaller formats.
So that's what I was saying. There were a couple scenes where like characters were acting in a way that felt like it was a closer shot, but it still worked on the larger shot. Just because we're looking at a giant screen.
Yeah, I felt certain scenes were kind of were flat. Or like just kind of like overly straight. Like I want to say overly straightforward, and I'm not sure that makes sense. There's one scene when they're on the boat. It was just like everything was just in frame.
Sure, yeah.
And I just thinking like in the age of reels and like Instagram posts and everything, and 16:9 on your phone, all kinds of different ways that people are going to be consuming your content. They have such a large format, and people might watch it like this much of it, or it might get collapsed down into like this, the width of my finger. I'm sure that does weigh on your mind in terms of
Yeah.
shot decisions and stuff like that.
And I'm sure it wasn't an option for him to have the same ratio showed on every screen and have most screens, 99% of the screens show something that has like black bars on the side.
Yeah.
Because you want the whole thing to fit in a smaller screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're doing IMAX film, you just got to be okay with understanding that this is going to heavily impact, in some cases, how this movie is viewed on other formats on smaller screens and things like that. And you just got to be okay with that, knowing that certain parts might get bracketed or cut off.
Yeah.
So
now the hope is, hopefully, like down the line when this is released digitally or physically in whatever way that it is, that you'll have an option. I think oftentimes you don't have an option. I feel like most of the time, even now you go to if you were to go see Way of Water or Fire and Ash, or either of the two of them, even the first one, but especially the last couple on Disney Plus or even like digitally, I don't think most of the time you have like the option to see it 3D, which is one of the limitations, one of the viewing options that's just like if the movie's sold for, but then it gets completely removed almost unless you have like the Apple Vision Pro or something like that. Which is a bit of a bummer. So that same thing probably happens with these. I don't remember. I have to go back and look at Oppenheimer and The Dark Knight to see if there's the screen widening, or if it becomes square when it's like a full IMAX shot. So most likely, it could just be that like these versions aren't released for the public to like pick and choose. Like, oh, I want to buy the IMAX 70 millimeter ratio version.
At least not yet, because like you could watch it on Apple Vision Pro. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how advancements in technology, particularly like in wearable technology, and the ability to watch something like at the planetarium or something like that, to experience like IMAX that way. It's going to be really interesting to see how people shoot. We'll probably get a lot more IMAX movies and stuff, quite frankly, because if there's enough people and there's enough critical mass technologically where enough people have glasses and can watch it that way, it'll justify the expense and the processing time and all of that that it takes to film on this kind of format. So while it may not be physical film, because I really feel like that's going away, people, the industry is moving away from all of that.
And they're
for better or for worse.
There are good things about it. Yeah, there are good things about it.
Yeah, I mean,
not everyone has the money that Christopher Nolan's able to throw around when it comes to filming a movie.
Because like, and the pressure on the actors and the performers, right, to get things right, because that is liquid gold in those film reels. Like if you get something wrong, if you're not paying attention, if something goes bad, they have to say cut. Like, oh man, people are going to be very, very unhappy with you.
I hope that sounds like Chris, for the actor side of things, runs things in a very well way, like a way that like is welcoming for the actors and all the people involved. Now I know when it comes to the actual production side of things, like, dude, I'm sure those guys, in the camera department were stressed. Like, changing in and changing out those 3-minute reels.
Somebody's feeling the brunt of that, like somewhere.
I hope somehow Chris wound up talking to the crew and like establishing sort of like a baseline level of respect. Like, guys, we know, I know I'm doing this.
I'm asking a whole lot of you.
So I'm going to ask to like direct your frustration at me, not the smallest person, lowest person on the totem pole. Which can wind up happening. Yeah, somebody always ends up kind of eating crap somewhere on the production line. And it's normally the lowest person on the totem pole. So it's not going to be the actors. Because you need the actors and you can't afford to make them angry. So, all right. So I think we can. Hoping, connect to that. Hoping that we somehow have better options when it comes to viewing this stuff, like at home, whether we're owning it physically or digitally. Like, that would be awesome to be able to select, like, oh, I want to watch this movie in this aspect ratio that would have, been shown on IMAX screen.
It's going to have to be wearables. Most people can't afford TV screens that big, or they don't even have the space for it.
I mean, this is true. But even just like, if I had the option to, I remember back in, what was it, when Spider-Man 2 came out. they were releasing. I don't know if you remember, like the wide format version and the full screen version.
Are we talking about Raimi's or
Sam
Raimi's? Okay.
I remember, and I was very knowledgeable at things. I remember I got the full screen version, and my teacher wound up getting the widescreen version. I was like, "Oh man, you got the one that has like the cutoff information." When it was actually the opposite way, right? Yeah.
The full screen is they kind of zoomed in on the image so that everything would fit.
Yeah. Which we don't have that choice anymore. So, and I've noticed this with some films, that we've had over the years, where it's like, oh, okay, they chose the version they want to give us. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, hopefully the studios wind up giving us more choices, but obviously that means more work on their side. But
yeah.
All
right, so we'll cut the chat for there, and we're getting right into spoiler territory.
We can jump into those spoilers.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not yet seen The Odyssey, please pause this live stream or come back and join us. Let us know what you think in the comment section. But from this point on, we will be spoiling the film. This is your spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We will be spoiling the film in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler alert.
All right. First of all, welcome in Rebel Sky. Yeah.
Oh, Rebel Sky was good.
Was good.
Don DeMarco. Good to see you, buddy. We're working on getting some of your artwork. We're going to post it on social media. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again. All right. So now we are in spoiler territory.
Okay. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about likes or dislikes first?
We could do dislikes.
All right.
Yeah, it's not a crazy long list for me necessarily.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The movie's too long. The movie could really have been short up and trimmed a fair amount.
This is almost crazy to say though, because the book is so very long.
Yeah.
You know? Like in some ways it's ridiculous to try and accomplish the story within a movie format.
Yeah.
At the same time, reading things and things being acted out definitely can play
two different things.
Different paces.
The description of things and then just being able to see it visually.
Yeah.
Totally separate experiences.
So depending on like how the book is constructed, it could be easier to do than just looking at the page count.
Right. That's the dilemma of adapting a work from, let's just say, a particularly skilled author. Like a Tom Clancy or like an Anne Rice.
Oh yeah.
So like people would criticize Interview with a Vampire, which came out in the 90s. And part of the critique is that, like, man, all of the detail, the lush descriptions that Anne Rice is known for is completely flattened in the film. Amongst all the other changes they made to adapt it for screen and all that stuff. But that's like, in the case of Homer's Iliad, it's ancient. Literally, it's ancient. So like, the conventional writings were not the same, obviously. But a question I have, kind of, how much of this adaptation is faithful to the original Homer's Odyssey? I remember reading it in high school.
Yeah, same. And even then, I think it was probably the abridged version.
Yeah. High school kids weren't reading the whole
no,
the original really. Gaelic or whatever it was written. I don't know. So yeah, like it felt like, just based on the dialogue, that he'd taken some liberties, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, it was too. It could have been short up, like, and we could have heard it, like the whole, like, it felt like the whole Odysseus thing. Although this is I remember, like, he was gone for 7 years and he thought it was 7 days, kind of thing. They didn't really touch on that part of it specifically. He's like, oh, I thought it was only gone for 7 days. No, actually, buddy, you were gone for 7 years. I remember that being part of the Odyssey. And he was like feeling he'd been hoodwinked and tricked and stuff.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But in this, he very much knows.
He knows that he's been gone, but he doesn't know for how long. And then when he hears it's been 7 years, he's horrified.
Yeah.
And so there are things that happen that I think are dumb because Odysseus is making dumb decisions. But I don't know if that's a critique, because that might have been in the original. In particular, there's one scene where they escape the Cyclops cave and could have just left and would have been fine. But then at some point he turns around and maybe because he thought that the Cyclops is going to pursue them and chase them.
No,
He just took an arrow and like shot him right in his eye. For like he didn't need to do that.
No,
you came into his space, ate his cheese, or interfering with his goats, his cattle. You didn't announce yourselves. Yeah, he ate some of your guys. Like he bit their heads off.
I mean, he's one guy has that line of like, do you try to communicate with ants? Like,
yeah.
So there's definitely like the Cyclops just has a difference of between species, of consciousness, of self, of being, that there's potentially a gap between these beings. So do we expect him to have the same morals as man? Hold him to the same standard as man? Was there some fascinating things in there?
I mean, they were just trying to get out of the cave.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then they realized he could speak after the fact, and it was like, oh, maybe we should have just talked to him. So I don't know how much of that. I don't remember how much of that. I'm sure some of that was in the book, or I don't know how much of it, and if it happened the exact same way.
Yeah.
If it didn't, then he made a really dumb decision, just shooting him in the eye and cursing himself, essentially.
Yeah. So
because it was like Prometheus' son or something like that.
Yeah, he's one of the sons of Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon.
Yeah. So son of a god. He doesn't wind up knowing it. Yeah. Before I move on too much from that, we can come back real fast to Homer's choices for his character Odysseus to make. Back to the length of the movie, 2 hours and 53 minutes. Could have added another 30 to 60. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot more content that could have been added in here. So, to me, it felt both fast and slow in different moments. Because the intro actually, I know people felt like kind of dragged on, and in some ways, I definitely agree. It just started. I mean, like after the trailers, it just went straight into the guy that's like telling, starting the story.
Yeah. Gundam Hathaway, please take note. Please take note.
I know, right?
Jeez.
Yeah. It got right into that part at least.
What was I gonna say? It just gets into it. I just felt like
there's sometimes a hurry up and wait kind of aspect to the film.
Yeah,
in a number of ways. Like in the greater scheme of like, okay, we know he's gonna show up. Okay, how many things are you gonna show me before he winds up getting home?
Yeah.
I even remembered that he was like already at home. So for a second, they show like an old man in a hood in the beginning, and I'm like, oh, is it this old man? Which it didn't turn out to be that old man. Okay. Anyways. There's certainly a hurry up and wait feel to the film, especially when they wind up going on different adventures. But I think the story, the poem is I mean, we get the, I don't know, what do you call it? Like social idiom of like, it's an Odyssey, it's an epic, from this story, right?
Yeah.
So I think it comes from this is like, there's a lot of things happening. You want to get to point A to point B. Sure, it seems simple, but there's going to be a million things in between.
Yeah. Okay. So the part of why I felt like it was too long, I think part of that has to do with the fact that it's so straightforward. For example, they had the sirens. And it was just some girls in mermaid suits shot from a distance, just kind of making a song or whatever. In fact, somebody asked me when I watched it, how did they do the sirens? I'm like, bro, there's not a whole lot to see. There's very little to say about it.
Okay, yeah.
They're just on a rock in the ocean and they're singing. Everyone has wax in their ears. Where did they get the wax? I don't know. Don't ask. But they have wax in their ears, and then the one guy.
That's a lot of wax.
Yeah, the one guy that looks like he looks like the Asian dude from Fast and Furious. He takes it and he jumps out and like swims to them or whatever. What happens to him? Who knows? What difference does it make?
He might have had the best life out of everybody.
Bro, the spinoff is going to be amazing. Yeah. I thought some of the casting choices were.
But that also feels like it comes out of nowhere a little bit as well. Like it's part of the greater journey. They go from one scene to like all of a sudden like, oh, we're coming up on the sirens. Yeah, and then
Okay, so hang on. That's what I was gonna say. So that's an example of like how not fantastical this movie is. I think I would have been able to deal with the length if they spent more of that length being kind of artsy fartsy, ethereal about it. And I don't think that's Nolan's style. he's very straightforward. Like there's like
Yeah, he seems to want to kind of almost not like tear down the mythical, but like bring down the mythical,
bring
to
a groundedness.
more, a grounded, yeah, because that even happens with his Batman and like even like Interstellar, and to some degree like it's bringing some of the fantastical down to like a a more relatable, grounded kind of.
I needed this movie. I can't believe I'm saying this. I need this movie to be a little more A24 Annapurna, with the ethereal kind of like Bjork, Enya, just kind of that vibe. It needed something there to kind of like
that'll
thread the needle.
That'll make the movie longer, but
no, with the same length.
Okay.
And and the music, because like the same composer did the amazing music for Mando, for the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay, yeah.
And this is like
Black Panther.
Black Panther. So like the score is fine. It's not bad. It's not. There's nothing you can hum to it from.
Yeah, I found that for myself.
So
the drumming at the end is like the thing that stays in my mind.
Yeah.
Drumming for like 20 minutes straight.
Yeah. And like the music during the credits at the end, it has like one singer and one rapper, and they had a song. The song itself sounds really good. I wish the rest of the movie had that kind of vibe and
might have been Travis Scott. Yeah,
it might have been, but it sounded good. It's like, I wish the movie sounded like that without making it too like modern or too presentist, if that's even the word correct. But and another thing is, and this is part of, I think, just what my expectations of the movie, or what I wanted to see, or what I was hoping to see, or I thought that I would see. I think I wanted this to be more kind of a combination of 300 and the fact that it wasn't in one, and probably my favorite scene, we'll talk about it in a second. But I kind of a mix between that and like the old Robin Williams movie, What Dreams May Come. Have you ever seen that one?
I haven't.
It's very, very artsy. Basically, it's a story of a guy who loses his wife. And he basically, in a very ethereal dream, artsy way, he like plummets down to the depths of hell in a very like Dante's Inferno kind of imagery to kind of find his wife and bring her back kind of thing. If the movie had more of that kind of like otherworldly, ethereal kind of like, I think I would have been able to accept the length a little bit more. Don't make it any longer. Keep the same length, but just kind of, make it more. I keep saying the word ethereal, but like just make it more.
There were some moments where
artsy.
it definitely could have been in there.
Yeah.
Especially when he's like eating the lotus, like flowers and stuff, or just in general with what was her name? Was it like Persephone, Priscilla? I'm forgetting at the moment.
Sure, Persephone.
Anyways, she seems like she's probably a demigod or a god or something. That's like that's keeping him captive. Anyways, there are moments where it could have been in there. And some people I've heard have a bit of that frustration with other scenes. One being like the Cyclops, like some of the fantastical elements were removed, and even like conversation between the Cyclops and Odysseus, and showing off his wit, and that's something we can get to in a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's not even in the.
It's not
in this. It's not in it at all.
Yeah. There's almost the comedy in the end of that scene where they're like, "Oh, we should have just he can talk. We should have talked to him." He's like, "I think we're beyond that now." The way it was delivered, I was like, "Are you supposed to? Is this a joke?" Like it almost felt a little bit like that. Anyways,
it kind of felt like pitch me. He's like, "I'm gonna need you to get all the way off my back on that one,"
Yeah, exactly.
What was I gonna say? Part of I was gonna say, I felt, and I don't feel like this was in what I remember of the book, but in this version, it feels like at certain points, Nolan is intentionally kind of like oddly, weirdly nerfing Odysseus' character. Like when they're hunting for the boar, and the boar just like takes a bite out of his ankle. I'm like, he wouldn't have been like, I mean, he shot the arrow, but he wouldn't have been ready for like something like this. How many hunting expeditions, dozens if not hundreds of hunting expeditions has this guy been on? He's not ready for a.
Wait, was it the boar? I thought it was was it the puppy?
No, it was a boar.
It was the boar. Oh, maybe I missed that somehow.
So he took the puppy.
Oh, he was
from being thrown off the cliff.
Yeah.
But the boar, they're hunting the boar. He goes ding
to let him know.
To let him know, and then he shoots him, lands the shot. But then the boar like just takes a bite out of his ankle. I'm like, and all the kids are watching. Like, I wouldn't take this dude seriously for anything. I'm not hunting like this dude. Look what happened to his ankle. You know, like a weird nerfing of his character.
Okay.
Now that results in probably my favorite scene in the movie, and we'll get to that. But
okay. First, let's catch up real fast. All right. So, Rebel's saying gives people illusion. Oh, we already said that. We already said that length as well. They said I like my first watch. Don't mind a long film as long as it's good. But my second view, I bounced because I did feel the time.
Okay.
You know, yeah. I don't know if that'll happen with me. That might wind up happening with me. I definitely am more willing to let a long movie kind of get by the first viewing because I'm still curious to check it out and give it a shot. But yeah, interesting that helped.
Yeah, this movie would be really good at like 1.5 or at least 1.25 and not 1.5 speed on the replay. Yeah. He said, I do even need to say it. Hathinaway. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Rebel Sky. That movie goes to the Academy Award next year. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some nominations for sure. I can see Anne Hathaway winning supporting actress. Yeah. Matt Damon is going to win Best Actor next year. Yeah, possibly. So the acting was great. Like the acting was really good for the script they were given. How'd you feel about John Leguizamo playing a blind man? Go for it.
Oh, pardon. I wound up liking his character.
I did too.
Ultimately, I think okay. I have a personal something that personally gives me pause. So I wound up working on a project that he did some voice work in, and he like absolutely phoned it in. So part of me winds up having a little bit of like frustration with him as an actor, but I typically let it go and can appreciate his work when he winds up doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, separating. So there's the John Leguizamo I remember is from the 90s, like The Pest. I like to party with my peeps, cruise the creek. Like he plays like this total like goofball character, right? And so when he plays serious roles, I'm like, okay, he can definitely do it. Yeah. But always like I just remember him being like the goofy, funny character. So there's that part of it. And yeah, I mean, I can separate him and his politics. And he says there's some, I mean, vis-a-vis black folks and everything, and him being Puerto Rico or whatever. It's like, he kind of misses the mark on some of that stuff, in my opinion. But that has nothing to do with this movie. As far as this movie is concerned, did he play a convincing blind man? I guess. I guess it's fine.
I believed it enough. I'm sure those that are like more familiar with people that are blind and what their mannerisms and how they go about life may be able to point out a number of things that could have been done a lot better.
You mean like blind people, Josiah? I'm sorry, but I don't think they're going to be able to help us on this one. Zing.
Yeah. Dude. Okay. One disappointment, and it's just the way it had to have been, I guess. Dude, when they wound up saying, so when Holland's Telemachus character wound up saying that basically that blind dude over there was still like holding it down security wise, and he was like beating up people and throwing them out.
Yeah,
they didn't show me any of that. I was half wanting by the end of the movie him to be like beating up that one guy that he said was too loud. When it turned out that Telemachus like absolutely fails in combating this dude on the second level, I was like, why didn't they give me the old man beating somebody up? Come on, why'd they have to take that from me? Yeah. But anyways.
And again, and when I see John Leguizamo, I just think Chef, the movie Chef.
Oh, yeah.
In which he's great in that movie.
Really good.
But I just like, it's almost like he's so good in that role that like, that's all I see him as. Again, that's a fun, it's his fault for being so successful in that role, Yeah. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying you play certain iconic roles or notable roles that are really good. And then you naturally get typecast, even in the mind of the viewer. So, but overall, I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I think Tom Holland, same thing. I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
He's kind of a weakling.
I'd like,
throughout the whole
to
movie.
think though that when it comes to like the people that will win the Oscars for these different roles, that'll be a role that's tried that much harder though, because it feels like they did it in a good job for the character they're given, but like someone was pointing out, I don't know that felt like they embodied somebody that wasn't them. Like it felt natural, but it didn't feel like they found a character that they then wound up in.
I would say that about Anne Hathaway for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matt Damon, maybe. Actually, I mean, I feel like Matt Damon. He was doing Matt Damon, so that's fine.
Which was fine.
Yeah. Tom Holland was kind of doing Tom Holland,
but I'm just thinking of like we're talking about Dark Knight. Like
I would say Robert
taking a chance.
Robert Pattinson's probably
I think
really trying the hardest in terms of portraying a character that may not,
Mm-hmm.
And
I think there was even a voice that he was doing.
Yeah,
like he came across as somebody that you wanted to hate. That then still had some points here and there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Nolan and Pattinson's kind of becoming one of those iconic team ups.
Oh yeah,
like Scorsese and DiCaprio or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so or De Niro.
De Niro, yeah.
And so because he's been in several of his movies now, and
most of these people have.
Yeah, my exposure to Robert Pattinson obviously was the Twilight movies, which is not a highlight. It's not that he's the bad part of the movie. The movies themselves I thought were like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb.
Yeah, well,
and they're made for a certain demographic that I won't mention because I don't want to be that guy that's always beating up on people
sure.
Demographics.
Yeah.
In fact, our friend Matthew is like, I feel like you really go hard on certain demographics. I said, who, me? So I'm trying to reform. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, there's certain characters we won't be harping on.
About
in this film.
Okay. No, we do need to talk about one thing. Okay, so, oh gosh, you know what? I'm just gonna say it, and if people feel if
let's just say there are two boys that are shown in this film. One grows up into Robert Pattinson. The other one grows up into somebody very different.
Yeah, into Elliot Page. Elliot Page, is that the name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Elliot Page is a biological woman who has decided to self-identify as a transgender male. I'm not gonna play the whole pronoun game. I'm not doing that. If a mama called a she, I'm gonna call a she. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. If that upsets you, then you'll just have to be upset. But it's important and it's relevant in this movie because not the first person. There's a scene before it, but like the first they're not Ithacan warrior, or they're from Ithaca, right? But they're not Trojan.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of the Trojan War, but were they Trojan? Ithaca?
I think they're Trojans.
Okay,
so Trojans, right?
The first Trojan soldier you see is Elliot Page.
Their Trojan horse.
Yeah, who immediately gets harpooned and basically killed. Again, this is a non-linear movie, so you see more of her later on. I'm not doing this. You see more of her later on.
I think the name is like Sonnen or something. I forgot the name of the character. Yeah.
And so here's the thing. I was never under the impression that was a man. I'm watching it. I'm like, just on first glance, the thing with the Transformer community is there's a super remotely infinitesimal percentage of folks in that community that can pull off the change, that don't look like their former sex, their former gender. Infinitesimally small percentage of people that can pull that off. That like, you were born a man? I would never have guessed. Right? I'm talking about after you've done all the surgeries and the hormone therapy, like all that stuff, right? Most folks still look like, you know, their biological sex.
Mm-hmm.
The same is true for Elliot Page. It's I mean, I remember what she looked like in the X-Men movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or in Juno.
Mm-hmm.
And now she looks like that.
Or Inception.
Yes. And now, and I think that's part of the reason why she's in this movie, because she has a pre-existing relationship with Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks, and I say this with some sadness, because this isn't a funny thing, and I'm not dunking on Elliot Page. I'm just simply saying she doesn't look like a man. She looks still like a woman, because she is biologically, and whatever hormones or whatever she's done, it's like sucked all the fat out of her face. She looks malnourished. It takes me out of the movie, because I'm like, this is a Trojan War. Now, I'm not saying that Nolan did it for political reasons or whatever. He may have just thought that this was the best person for the role. That's fine. All I know is when I'm watching it, it takes me completely out of the movie, because this does not look like a Trojan warrior that is in any way imposing.
Sure.
And so I'm like,
so you're feeling like if the point was that this warrior was off to war because they were basically drafted. It was not of their choice. They could have grown up, and this boy could have grown up into potentially a man that wasn't like terribly impressive physically or whatever. Still would have been a lot better to go that route, because you would have potentially seen, like, I don't know, a weaker looking man would not have been bounced out of the film because of political and, you know.
Unfortunately, for the purpose of this movie, Elliot Page does not look like a man.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Just doesn't. Has female bone structure. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that if you're telling me that this is a Trojan warrior, it's going to take me out of the movie. And it's not even for sake of politics or whatever. I'm just saying, just visually does not look like a man. It looks like a woman still. Mm-hmm. That has had hormone therapy or whatever, and, you know, maybe is not in the best of health. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, I say this with sadness, because listen, we're Christian. You should know where we stand on the issue of transgender derpity derp. I'm not trying to go into all that. I'm just saying, for the purpose of this movie, I'm watching, it's like, that's not a man, and it's very clearly not a man. And this person is playing a man, but they don't look like a man. And if that was part of the character, that would be one thing. But you're supposed to take this at face value as a man. And it's taking me out of the movie, because Elliot Page does not look like a man. Looks like a tomboy girl on some level on the androgyny scale. And it just took me out of the movie.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying. I wish Elliot Page the best. Wish Elliot Page the best. I'm just saying, for the purpose of this movie, it took me out of it. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep it real. We'll go back up in a second, but keep it real. Saying she looked like a young boy, which may have been the entire reason why
possibly
Nolan cast.
Yeah, it's
to be a reminder that, like, the younger boy between, you know, the two was the one that was put into war. Yeah, and so
that's entirely possible. I'm not even. I guess I'm knocking the decision to cast just because of how it takes me out of the movie.
Yes, yeah.
But there may have been real rationale behind it that wasn't purely politically. I don't know what Christopher Nolan's politics are. Yeah. I don't care what his politics are.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't care. I don't think the movie.
Now, interestingly, he cared enough not to name this character Achilles, even though this is supposed to be Achilles.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay, so I didn't. Okay, sure.
Because there was definitely a blow up on people being like, "Oh man, how could the greatest warrior, you know, that can only be beaten by the tendon being taken out, be this person?" But anyways,
I mean, the arms are just so skinny. You know, it's like, this is not a warrior.
Yeah,
super skinny armed. Why does Elliot Page have super skinny arms? Because Elliot Page is a biological woman who has skinny arms.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But all the hormone therapy in the world didn't change that. Like, she had super skinny arm. Now, are there men that have skinny arms? Yes. But when you take everything all together, it's
Yeah,
like, this
I
is
get
not
what
like,
you mean.
yeah.
10 plus years of surviving like warfare would not equal for a man would not equal that kind of situation. Yeah. Okay.
That person would have been taken out a long time ago by the ravages of war. Okay.
Yeah.
So
thankfully, was short lived in the movie.
Yeah.
Messenger overall, but let's go back a half second.
And the part where she comes back as like a ghost or whatever is actually an interesting scene.
Yes,
and it was
that was
a well acted scene.
Mm-hmm.
I am not trying to knock. I'm really not trying to knock. The performance was good. I'm just saying the appearance was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
All right.
So yeah, where were we right before that, or just continuing through that? I guess we were kind of still in the negatives.
Yeah.
Section.
So the other thing, I don't necessarily think this is a negative. Was everybody supposed to be like European white? Because I know Lupita Nyong'o was in it. She plays basically two roles, twin sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
One with a facial scar, with a scar, and one without it.
Mm-hmm. Some people were bothered by that.
They were bothered. I was about to say, still thicker than a bowl of cold grits. in the little bit you saw, I'm like,
look.
Yo,
I actually thought it was. I actually thought it was cool because on the one hand,
with
like,
John Bernthal,
yeah.
But with the brother, there's I'm just saying,
look,
Lupita.
Look, it's actually fascinating. If anyone's going to be fighting, if the world's going to be fighting over the beauty of somebody, I think it actually is a boon that it's somebody that doesn't look like everybody else necessarily.
Lupita is gorgeous.
She herself is gorgeous. Yeah, indeed. Mm-hmm.
Cold grits, gentlemen. Cold grits. I'm just saying. Listen, they were in the movie for such a small period of time for whatever the outrage was. Now, did Lupita say something on the runway in the interview?
It doesn't even matter to me. Like,
did she,
no one complains about this when it comes to watching musicals. You know, like, or there are a million versions of stories in which it's like characters aren't played by their like prescriptive ethnicity or whatever. We don't. I don't care.
How did Nick Fury escape all this back with the Avengers? Like,
that was because comic book writers made the character Nick Fury look like Sam Jackson in the like late thousands, early 10s.
Okay.
And then he wound up becoming cast as the character afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And I think they may have even reached out to see if they're okay to get his likeness to put him to the comics.
Okay.
I'm sure there are people out there that were upset that like, listen, Nick Fury's.
I just remember it distinctly not being a big issue at the time.
Yeah.
Praise God. Like
that was one of them.
Okay.
There was a smoothing out because people couldn't complain because he was already
that in the
Sam
comic books.
Jackson in the comics. You know.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
I was always curious about that. Now I know.
Yeah.
Okay. There's very few black folks in this movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. Like, I'm not complaining about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I just know there's a lot of complaining. I don't know if Lupita said something in a press junket interview about something. I don't know. Maybe she did, and maybe I wouldn't have agreed with it if I had heard her say it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. I just know there was like some like, oh no, why are they race swapping character? I'm like,
don't even care about it specifically.
It was.
The gods aren't even human, you know. Like So
I don't know.
Zendaya being Athena, doesn't bother me.
Oh, so she was Athena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing I have no issue with Zendaya.
Maybe say Zendaya. Yeah, I think that's how Tom says it. Also, we'll say Zendaya.
Zendaya. I got no issue with her being in the movie. That's not. But her character is just like. I feel like if she was going to play that character, kind of like the Jiminy Cricket character to Odysseus, I feel like she should have been more interwoven into what was going on.
Yeah.
She was just kind of scattered. Sometimes she's there, sometimes she's not. And so, because it was so scattered, I was like, either have her in the movie or don't have her in the movie. Mm-hmm. Now, if she's there because they wanted to support the relationship between her and Tom Holland, hey, I ain't mad at that.
Keep them together. Don't separate them.
They seem like a very sweet, cute couple.
They're just about to get married.
Yeah. And this is a pro family keeping them together. I'm not
You know
mad at
what?
that.
That'd be
Zendaya is
cool.
a fine actress. Like she, in
Mhm.
terms of like her act, like she's told like
Mhm.
no issue. She's in some gigantic movies as of late. She's about to be in the new Dune movie. Have a much bigger role in that movie, from what I can see.
Hopefully.
I mean, at least as indicated in the trailer. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, I'm hoping that she has a good role because I liked her role in the first 2 movies.
she'll be in Spider-Man in a week and a half.
And she'll be inspired. Like I mean, Zendaya is just her star is on the huge ascent.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zendaya. I just wish that they did something different with like either don't put her in the movie or really put her in the movie.
Mhm.
They're just like she just wasn't there. She should have been there more, and there should have been more of a dialogue between them if she was going to be in the movie. But the problem is, like Charlize Theron's character kind of occupies the same role for Odysseus.
So a little bit.
So which makes me feel like Zendaya's role would have been redundant. Or Charlize Theron's role would have been redundant, because they both kind of talking to Odysseus and trying to help him along his way, kind of, sort of. So like, I just felt like they needed to make different decisions for both of those characters, or how much screen time one got or the other. I just wish they'd done something different.
The roles are supposed to be different, but
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from on them feeling a little similar.
They kind of collapsed into each other, or there's just too much overlap between Charlize Theron's character and Zendaya's character vis-a-vis Odysseus.
Yeah.
So,
I'll grab my iPad just to look up some character names real fast.
Other than that, other than like some like really not really complaints, but like I always thought the Trojan horse was bigger, like physically bigger, but that could be wrong. And it was fine. Anything else that I didn't like? I said the length. I said Elliot Page as a Trojan soldier. I said Zendaya either should not have been in the movie that way or should have been way more in the movie. I'm totally fine with her being in the movie way more, but they just either she was underutilized or incorrectly utilized, or and there's too much overlap between her character and Charlize Theron's. I felt like the acting performances were good, but I think we talked about like none of them were particularly spectacular, with the possible exception of Robert Pattinson. Anything else? The guy from Sons of Anarchy was his coach. I thought that was kind of cool. Who ended up dying? He got poisoned at the end. John Bernthal is John Bernthaling. I'm not mad at that.
He is. Agamemnon. So it's interesting. I'd have to again. Look, I'll just take it. Benny Safdie. I actually was wondering who that was in there.
Where's Safdie from? What do we know?
He's one of the Safdie brothers.
Yes.
So he was the super sweaty guy in Oppenheimer.
Okay.
And then he directed Uncut Gems with his brother before they split.
They split because
then he wound up doing the Smashing Machine last year.
They didn't really show his face. They almost showed his face. Right when Lupita was like stabbing him.
A little bit.
Almost like it was such a quick cut. Like they might as well have not shown his face.
I feel like there was one scene where I felt like I saw him as a different character at the with all the suitors. But maybe it was just somebody that looked a little bit like him. Maybe.
I kind of felt like it was the guy from Saltburn, the good-looking brother that the guy was lusting after. But like he was like the head of the Trojan army, right? And Odysseus was like his subordinate. Is that what it was?
Oh, for Agamemnon? Agamemnon? Yeah. Agamemnon was the one that he was making some big plays. Because
he was always like just kind of stoically, iconically standing there, and everyone was running around him.
Or slowly walking through during the Trojan, horse, takeover, basically.
Oh yeah, and the other thing I said was I didn't like how I felt like they were nerfing Odysseus' character, which may or may not be true and accurate to the source material. Yeah,
that's where a little bit of my frustrations come from. Also, primarily. I don't know if it's a story problem with the book or with this adaptation or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that only was, I don't know that I was fully rooting for Odysseus. like at the beginning, I feel like you're supposed to feel empathy for him, feel bad for him. Like on the one hand, because he's been drafted into a war that he doesn't want to be a part of.
Right.
But then you also do appreciate that he's not just running away with his wife because he doesn't want to screw over all of Ithaca. So I can appreciate him like on that in that way. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, besides, I guess maybe also wanting the authors and Nolan wanted us to step into his feet and imagine like how we would feel if we were called off to war. I'm not sure if there was a moment for me like in the beginning that like got me really like rooting for this guy specifically. Because even with, and maybe I read it a little bit wrong, the moment where Pattinson's character, who is Antinius, the moment where Antinius and the younger boy come up and they're doing the lottery system, it looks like Odysseus can see that Antinius doesn't want to go and like says something to this kid to like pass on over and switch roles or whatever. And I felt like, okay, if he's supposed to be this like righteous like king sort of character, they kind of play it off as like, oh, okay, well, he didn't want to embarrass Antinius' father or family or something like that. But then the flip side of that is like, oh, but he's willing to let this younger kid go to war,
right?
In a moment that's like, that's when like an adult like should stand up, like stand up for the younger kid, like the older kid. I don't know. So maybe I read that scene wrong, but for me that took away some like, I don't know, honor points that like the film was wanting me to attribute to Odysseus, which caused me to like want to root for him.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's a moment that happens with with the Cyclops. Yeah, I think part of the point is supposed to be like he keeps making wrong decisions, but some of the decisions aren't necessarily wrong per se.
Stuff like the Cyclops and my favorite scene, which we'll talk about.
We'll get to that.
They just look like goofballs.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where I was kind of wanting it or kind of wishing it was more like Leonidas and the 300 and the Spartans. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where like they were all like super competent, super seasoned warriors. Mm-hmm. And they were just going in wrecking shop, like you saw in 300. I was like, I kind of wanted maybe a more grounded version of that. And that isn't what we saw.
The only reason why I wasn't expecting that specifically is because it seems like they've been stuck for 10 years on the beach, you know? Like they may have been that in the first like 2 or 3 years or something like that, possibly. But like being stuck on the beach potentially like brought them down so low, including Odysseus so low, to be able to do something that will also cover him doing something basically dishonorable and backhanded with the Trojan horse itself. So like I get where you're coming for that. But yeah, if they didn't make it like 10 years fighting on the beach, and this is basically like a last-ditch effort, like willing to like cost lives, spend lives to save more lives to get the battle over with. Maybe I would have expected that a little bit more.
Yeah. He said, Keep It Real says, Charlize is a gorgeous woman.
Indeed.
Yeah, she is. I just wish she would stay off podcasts. But
yeah. Odysseus, for whatever reason, and I don't even know what the reason is specifically. I guess besides him supposed to be an impressive king, man, and intelligent and shrewd and all that stuff. He has the beautiful women going for him like constantly in this film.
Yeah.
Like, oh goodness.
Keep It Real said, well, people were bothered because she was black, but no one was bothered by Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra. Yeah.
I think only some Egyptian people, Persian people, were specifically bothered about that.
Right. I think Anne Hathaway was great, especially when Spider-Man says, "What do you want?" She says, "I want Odysseus." Yeah, that was good. That was a good scene. The whole scene was good. Yeah, that was a good dialogue. Good back and forth between mother and son. Yeah. If
there's no other film that rises above the acting of this, like, I would be fine for them to get awards for what they did. I just believe that there can be films and roles that will have actors rise above this. Like I was gonna say, like Heath Ledger finding the character for Joker, whatever, he completely deserves the supporting actor.
Right. Let me go grab this thing. Keeps beeping.
Okay. Let's see.
All right,
Yeah. I think my buying into and like rooting for Odysseus is probably one of the gripes, but I also see the like removal of like the fantasy element a bit.
Mhm.
Like yeah, remembering that the Cyclops and Odysseus did have like a wit sort of back and forth.
Yeah, that would have been nice to have seen.
Is disappointing that it wound up being removed from film.
Yeah.
And if that was more present, Odysseus is like wit and which I believe would have had to been there. I think the Trojan horse is supposed to be a moment where it's him kicking off his like intelligence and being witty and impressive and thinking outside of a box, separating himself from like all his other soldiers, making him something impressive even to the gods is what's supposed to happen. And then that continues on like in the story, and he winds up potentially being too haughty and too full of himself, thinking himself too smart. May be like why things go wrong, throughout the story.
Yeah,
but that is
not this story. Yeah.
No. It's like, okay, we need to land on a beach. Let's land on this beach. Oh no, this is not a good beach. Okay, let's land on this beach. Oh no, this is not a good beach. Let's go over here. So there's I feel like there's an element of the original story and like the main characters making decisions that then affect the story literally is a bit missing from this. Like I still was on for the journey, but like it's just like when it comes to storytelling, like your main characters are supposed to be the one that drive things into the negative and even the positive.
Right.
And then the villains are supposed to be tempting them to like choose an easier route, choose a route that is chasing gold or vanity or money or whatever it is. That's not the correct route, that is like self-sacrifice.
Yeah,
like
less of the eyes, less of the flesh, pride of life.
Yeah. I just like some of that does feel like it's a bit missing for me. Like even when here, let me try and find her name. Charlize Theron's character, not Cersei, Calypso. Even when she decides to free him, does she decides to free him just because like she feels the weight of like, oh, he's never gonna like truly love me?
I don't know. That was kind of weird. Because she's supposed to be like a bad guy, right?
I mean, she's doing a very bad thing, by keeping him like almost as like a trophy in sort of a way. But I think she wants him to fall in love with him. So maybe her whole thing is like how can I take this person and somehow like erase his love for somebody else? And that's maybe why she lets him go, because she realizes like, okay, his love is not going to disappear.
Yeah.
And he's never going to truly love me. So, but then, okay, I mean, I can respect it on some level of somebody being like so very committed genuinely to their significant other, and I think that needs to happen more so in our day and age for sure. So I don't like completely trash it, but to some degree I'm like, what was it that he did that caused her to free him? And maybe it was just that like his love was committed and true to his wife after all this time, and she is somehow not like, she was maybe more cold-hearted at the beginning, but then was won over by seeing his love for somebody else that she could not get in the middle of it anymore.
Yeah.
And that, so by the time he winds up making it back home, and this is, I guess, a bit of a frustration with the original story.
Yeah, maybe.
But even him like stringing the bow, like it is a cool moment. But is it technique that he's using? Is he just stronger than everybody? Or is it supposed to be like a physical representation of something emotional or something, specific internally about his character? It's probably that one, that he's, who he is as a character enables him to do this just thing, this this thing that
pull
everyone
the bow, bend it, get the.
Yeah, but that's just like a physical representation of what separates him as a man from all these people that haven't risen to become men. That might be what it is also. So, no real major problems with that. I did think And yeah, like I was saying, there were a couple moments where I kind of got bounced out of the film with it being a little long in the tooth. Sadly, strangely enough, the Cyclops scene was one of those moments I wound up getting bounced out. And even weirdly enough, the fight at the end, I think that went on a little too long. And like the music was like had that building tension sort of feel to it. And I could tell they kept on building, and then like sneaking it back, and then like building. Choreography for it was a little weird. Yeah. Anyway,
like how weak is Odysseus' son?
Oh man, he just kept taking L's.
Like, yeah. How weak is he supposed to be? Like I don't know. Yeah. Like it became annoying watching him like fumble all the time.
And then they put him up against the dude that was called out for not being quiet enough. That dude did not seem like he was one of the most impressive people at the party in any way, shape, or form. And Telemachus is like just utterly failing. Even if he's like 16, 14, maybe. I didn't get that he was an adult, but even if he was 16 and he's been trained constantly by one of Odysseus's like right-hand men, underneath Odysseus's right-hand man, that
I feel like he would be able.
He would be way more capable.
Yeah. I feel like he was just flailing.
Mm-hmm. Then again, like I say, this might just be actual story things that a little bit bothered by.
All right, so let's talk about what we liked.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of negative. I'm sorry. All right, let's catch up real fast.
Yeah.
One thing about Chris Nolan, he knows how to pick a great cast. It's true, he finds some really good people and pulls them along with him. Let's see. Cleopatra was black. Watch Paul Mooney's take on that. He explains.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I think I've heard a little bit about that. Yeah. Being from Africa, people will assume that it's like modern day Egyptians, but going back as far as possible. Yeah. Also, my take on Medusa was an allegory for a black woman that nation has never seen her hair. Oh, fascinating. That'd be really cool to see. Dragon locks, aka snakes. Her beauty turns men into stone, aka stopping men in their tracks like stone. And then Keep It Real saying, a woman's been by herself for so long, she gets a good man. She sees that man doesn't love her. She wants, eventually, you have to let them go if you're not selfish, which is impressive for her to be like a demigod or a god or something, to let her go. Because it's like famously those Greek gods are like the most horrible individuals,
capricious, selfish,
just, like, murder,
narcissistic.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't just murder him out of nowhere.
Like just like the exaggeration of all the best and the worst qualities of humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was a good man with a destiny, and she had to let him go. Yep. But come on, training don't make you a warrior until you actually get out there and fight. This is true. That said, I don't think any of these suitors were that either. They were all the ones that were left behind, right? Like
they're all just F-boys. They're trying to get the throne.
Mm-hmm. Oh, which gets me the last thing I'll say, and it's try to not to read deeper things into it, but it kept being some of the minorities that were getting screwed over in the film. But it's not just them. I'm just thinking of like the Asian man being the sole Asian man jumping off the boat to go swim to the sirens, and then we have I'm forgetting the name of the actor that's one of the suitors that gets shot.
It was on the page.
Yeah. I'll pull him up. Travis Scott was the bard. Yeah. Oh yeah. Polybus by Corey Hawkins. Yeah,
he caught one to the neck.
Caught one to the neck. That said, Robert Pattinson was even more of a scummy character. So I don't see it as like he's only putting minorities in bad positions. A lot of non-minorities died within this movie too. Yeah, but it's a little bit, and this might just be last thing I'll say negative. Going from like the big Cyclops to the Lystragonians that are like big people feels a little redundant. Going from big threat to big threat, but
I'm okay with that because of what we're going to discuss next. Let's talk about what we did like.
Let's go to the positives. Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
Positives. All right, so I think my favorite scene was when they're in the forest and they run into that kid. Kids start screaming, and all those giants show up. And did they try to like talk or what? No, they all took their swords out immediately.
Yeah.
And then they saw how big they were, and they just
bounced. They were full
gone.
on running.
They said, "Bleep this," and they just ran.
That kid was funny. That kid made me think of one of the kids from like Willy Wonka or something like that. You know. Anyways,
you just they saw them big things like, yeah, we're not even trying to like pretend that we stand it. No, we're gone. And they just, I mean, those that had to fight, you know, they got cornered or trapped, and they did what they could. They're getting thrown through trees and stuff. They're getting like blasted through branches and stuff. But yeah, just the scene of them just booking and just running was like my favorite scene.
Oh man, yeah,
that was the funniest scrap. And then so like I saw like when I came out of the theaters, that was like the cutout, the cardboard thing. I was like, you realize this is not a scene of bravery or like a big epic scene though. They saw that and cut bait, tuck tail, and ran. And they were smart to do it. There's no way they would have all died there easily.
Dude, those guys have like they look like they're the girls from that like Claymore manga or whatever with like almost completely sealed, you know, armor or whatever. It's like, you know, Guts from Berserk wearing like completely sealed armor. It's like, where do you attack? You know, how do you even attack and get through to these guys?
Remind me, did Odysseus get one of them like with an arrow or no?
I think he did.
I think he got one of them.
They got to keep him impressive. Yeah. I was also minorly bothered that he never looked like he like fully extended his arm. Like he was always like hip firing. I felt like his arrow.
It's akin to shooting like this, which is like the worst way to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
He's
like, I mean, it's like, I guess if it's that strong a bow, then I mean, first you got to be crazy strong to pull something back like that.
Yeah.
Instead of like using your shoulders or whatever.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So,
anyways,
the scene
I like. Go ahead.
The scene where they're hunting for pheasants. They're like, doom. They're just Bernthal and Holland. They're like, they're just talking. I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, they're that skilled, you know.
And then the orator in the castle. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, Travis Scott's character.
Travis Scott.
Apparently, yeah. Let me double check. I think it might have been, or let's see, Bard. I think that was Bard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he wasn't rapping.
That was a fun way to intro the movie.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I was like, okay, you're just getting us straight into it. All right.
Yeah, I was cool with that too.
I did like Nolan's, you know, changing up the timeline. I know it can be a little frustrating, but I think, oh man, I guess I'm of two minds on it actually. On the one hand, for most of the movie, I was like, yeah, why are these guys getting screwed over? Like, what do they do? What, like, everywhere they're going, like they're just more and more of them getting murdered. Like, well, I'm like, why is this happening? So part of me, then, you know, when you get to the end of the film, and it's basically like, oh yeah, well, he threw up a big middle finger to the gods and like the way they run things, and so they all have it out for him, and so the gods are trying to kill him and all of his people with him. Not knowing that like early on, I think on the one hand I liked having the question in mind. On the other hand, it didn't allow me to like engage fully in the journey because I was like, why is this happening to them? So yeah, of two minds. It's both a positive and negative in a way for me. That because typically when it comes to like storytelling, like, all right, the main character, which is maybe why he put in Odysseus shooting the Cyclops in the neck, but I kept thinking like, could that be it all? Like the entire reason why things are going wrong for him, like them even landing on the Cyclops Island to begin with.
Yeah, like
felt like there was something else going on. Either that, or it's like, oh no, the Greek world is just inhospitable in so many ways.
They did a whole lot of hiking in this movie. They were constantly hiking up hills.
There's a lot of hiking.
That's not a bad thing. I'm
Mhm.
like, but I kind of did like it because it kind of gave it like
Mhm.
they're just kind of like trekking through the world.
Yeah, and there were some smart moments where they were saving time. Like I remember, I think it was when they were going to see the Cyclops. They were like on the ship looking at the hill, and then they cut to them like almost halfway up the hill.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing them land and get out and everything. So there are definitely some smart decisions that that still didn't bounce me out of the movie. I wasn't here being like, oh man, I need to see them land and make the journey.
Yeah.
I think there were smart, cuts to save time.
I like the whole scene where they're eating in the lady's house.
Oh dang, man!
And then she starts like doing like weirdo stuff, and turning them into pigs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of practical effects with that, which I thought was the way that if you're gonna do something like that, that's the way to do it.
And squeezing that,
like just stretching the skin out. It's like, ugh, what is she doing?
Yeah, that.
And then they all turn into pigs.
Good. Yeah,
and I mean, as far as the cleverness of Odysseus,
one of the few moments.
Kind of, I would say, sort of. It's as close as we get in this movie to that kind of thing.
Yeah, but which does me. They did make me think though. Oh, he just lied to her then, right? So he I guess didn't lie. It's lie of omission, right? He's saying they just want to get home. While they probably still, when we get to the end and we see like, oh man, the way they attacked out of the Trojan horse, we're supposed to believe that it was way more brutal, and it is way more brutal because they are grabbing like women and children. I don't know if they show children. They at least show them grabbing women and murdering. They don't show them doing anything crazy or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's cool seeing in hindsight that like, oh, okay, maybe his wit was to not acknowledge her concern of like, oh, this is what men do in war. This is what your men have done in war. He kind of like skirts over it, and lie of omission is like, we just want to go home.
Yeah.
It makes me think like, oh dang, she was actually kind of right to like keep those guys as pigs. Yeah.
I mean, if 300 were an accurate portrayal of what Spartans did back in the day, it would have been the hardest NC-17, banned in multiple countries kind of movie.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are like, why didn't we go closer to the Siren Island? It's like, chill out, boy. Chill out, guys, with the thirst, all right? All right.
I mean, it was a pretty lackluster scene, though, with the sirens.
Yeah.
Very little going on, but the actual sirens themselves.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been.
I mean, they were just on the rock, and it was shot with a zoom lens. You know what I mean? Like, all right, they're out there in fake, in mermaid.
It's a weird
mermaid tails.
So okay, I guess that maybe this is a little bit of a negative. It's weird that we get the reveal of he is just destroyed by like what they did, the 10 years of rage being unleashed on this city. But then he winds up shooting the Cyclops in the eye. And then he winds up doing this bizarre thing where he's like, I just want to hear a siren song. Like, like I'm supposed to believe that this guy who's like completely devastated by his I guess it's less than honorable strategy. He's not plucking the string to let the city know that they're coming in. He's doing this less than honorable Trojan strategy that is betraying the honor that he wants, he's trying to instill into the people around him and live by. Then turn around and shoot the Cyclops in the eye. This is after he's seen this city and had his like devastated walk, and then put everybody's lives at danger because he wants to hear the sirens. A little bit of a problem that like once you get to the end and you see where he's operating from in the beginning, like the way some of the things play out are like a little bit which maybe it's just painting the picture of even if he winds up seeing like an ultimate evil or come from his desperation, he's not going to change right away. He's still going to have these, moments of being selfish, individual that winds up just wanting to do what he wants to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It does it is a little bit weird for me though, knowing where he started, even though they show us at the end technically. But anyways, back to positives. Travis Scott and his part was entertainment. Disrespect of the gods. That's why they were getting murdered. Definitely. I would say the corny part of the movie is when they're changing the soldiers into pigs and then changing them back. I thought that was a little bit corny. That's like we were saying. That's supposed to be a moment where he's using his wit.
Yeah, the turning back looked a little bit corny. I can see that. But when they were like sitting there just eating, they couldn't stop eating, and she's like massaging their skin, like doing all that stuff. I thought that was pretty effective.
Where I was saying Justice League Unlimited animation, Cersei turned Wonder Woman into a pig. I actually forgot about that. And Keeper Real is then saying he tried to save his man, but a lot of the time men don't want to be saved. That's why they went in. They ate the animals they weren't supposed to eat. Yeah. That's right. That's
that
right.
Weird
he didn't want them going on the island. Yeah, there's the mutiny moment. He was gonna go get.
What happened to the ones when they ate the cattle or the thing they weren't supposed to eat?
They just can't stop eating, and so it gives them. It basically is like some sort of spell of sorts that allows her to then, have the moment to like mold them and manipulate them into the.
Was that the punishment? Like they're going to die because then they ended up coming. Odysseus got them turned back. They weren't supposed to eat the cattle of that island, and then they decided to do it anyway. Like I forget what happened. Was that before
you're talking
whirlpool?
about the later on the cattle one? Yeah. That was the he knew from the like prophecy that they were all going to get killed and that it was going to be.
Oh, that's right. No, they're on the ship during the big storm at night, and then they got broken apart, and then we don't know what happened to them, but presumably they all died. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they were killed by the gods that owned the cattle, basically.
Were they?
Yeah, that's essentially what they're saying is happening.
Okay, yeah. So
whether it was those gods specifically or those gods like working with Poseidon, it was ultimately the gods that were
that orchestrated it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they had like that weird monster that came out of the rock like the weird after they cleared the whirlpool. And they were going in between the two rocks. And then there's like Rockalore monster that doesn't look like anything. Just like, just go.
Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of a giant version of I don't know, a creature you would see in a coral reef or something like that.
Yeah, like some kind of underwater tarantula or something like that.
Yeah, like a mussel / crustacean kind of thing or whatever.
But it was in the rock. It was just a slab of rock and just came in and grabbed them. So like, okay. I almost wish there was some more like Blumhouse to this movie, like A24 for the artsy-fartsy stuff, and then like Blumhouse for like those scenes where people get yanked, they get snatched out, from some weird monster or whatever. Just lean into the gore, lean into the bloodiness kind of thing. Blumhouse horror kind of thing.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like the movie played it too safe. That's just my thought. But going back to good things,
there might have been, since since Nolan's not trying to rely as much on CG, there could have been some limitations to stop some of that stuff. But you're just saying, make it even bloodier and more violent potentially.
I mean,
maybe it could have happened.
I don't even know if I want bloodier just for the sake of being blood, but like it was too grounded. Because I don't think the original source material is that grounded. I think it's a fantasy tale. And I wish that was more reflected in a movie that I thought for its own good was probably a little too grounded. And so that's what makes its length drag out as much. Like this wasn't the case in Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is actually longer than this movie. It's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it felt its length.
Sure.
I was watching Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So I know Nolan is capable of like compelling storytelling that's 3 hours long. I just don't feel like this movie needed to be 2 hours 40 minutes long. 2 hours 20 minutes, where you cut out about 20 minutes of fluff or drag out, probably would have been the sweet spot, if I think. But on the plus side, it wasn't 3 hours because that would have been an extra 20 minutes of like.
This is about to be 3 hours. I'm just joking.
No, I know.
We are going on a little bit. We should wrap it up in just a minute here. Actually, it's
Yeah, we're about to hit the 2 hour mark. So we're almost as long as this movie. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, the cinematography it's IMAX. Everything's so big and, I don't know. It's fine. I mean, if you're going to, I wish he had taken more chances if you're going to shoot it in IMAX.
Dude, at least this movie looked like they were actually filming in water on the ocean compared to Moana.
Yeah. I don't know how they protected the lens and all that from the water. Good use of practical effects for sure.
Yeah.
God bless whoever had the man and do maintenance on that IMAX camera after all that.
Yeah, the blimp must have been impressive. Must have been
I gotta look up
water resistant.
I gotta find out more about this blimp and learn more about it. I'm curious.
I love that they call it a blimp also, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think again, this is one of the last movies because I watched not the trailer, the end credits, and they're like they were in Greece, they were in New Zealand, they were in Iceland.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking like the crew that had to carry all the stuff and like carry all the camera equipment and everything just to shoot all this stuff. It's like, man, it's pretty massive. So I'm glad that it's making us money. That doesn't mean that the new director coming on the studio a lot's going to get that kind of budget, that kind of freedom, that kind of latitude, and all that stuff. He or she will have to make good movies that justify those kinds of asks. But, I'm glad that Nolan's at a point.
Not going to be a director out the gate or something.
Yeah,
you have to have a few proven successes.
Sure. And so,
I think it also is not every film will deserve to be shot in that sort of way, to go through all the hassle. I wouldn't be surprised if Nolan himself has that feel, has that idea as well that, something that's one of the biggest epics of our, of mankind's storytelling, the Odyssey, would be something that would earn, taking all the effort to put into it.
And now, I'm still fascinated by the whole like color grading thing on film versus digital. I'm fascinated by that. I actually want to look into more of that. I think it's really interesting. But that's. I enjoyed watching them run around, bumping into each other, run away from the giants. That was fun. I thought there was some pretty decent suspense with the Cyclops when they're running down the hill.
Yeah, the movie definitely pulled me in overall. Yeah. And as I was watching it and thinking of it, I was like, it's funny. Once this movie releases on digital or DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever it is, HBO. They're going to be next year. They're going to be a lot of classrooms that are watching this film across 2 or 3 days or something like that. Once they wind up reading through the book. Yeah, no, I doubt there's any way of doing this without just being extraordinarily expensive. I almost wish they'd had like an RE camera. Looks like Keep It Real's got a bounce. God bless you too. All right, God bless you. Good talking. Yeah. Good to hear from you. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're praying for you. So definitely. Glad to have you back. Good to have you back. See you next week too. We'll see you. Oh yeah, and you want to brighten up our day too, man? For sure. Really appreciate you as well. Yeah. We hope that you saw our comments on your post. We won't discuss it here, but yeah, man, our hearts go out to you. So God bless you. And we hope to see you next week too. Yeah, we're glad to see you back. So have a wonderful evening. Rest well. Yeah, man. Our friend's departure aside, this is a good movie. I mean, I think it's a decent movie. This is not Nolan's best. This is better than a lot out there, though. Yeah. As far as his best, yeah, I think
his best is a high watermark for sure.
This is maybe in the middle of the group or so of his films for me overall.
Yeah, in terms of the story, I think I would have enjoyed Tenet more if the sound was on point the way it was supposed to be. The way it was in this movie. Because
that's definitely a big high.
Because it
so
plus. Wasn't.
There was yeah, like he said in his speed run, I had no problem understanding this movie auditorily at any point in time.
There may be a few lines of dialogue or a name or something here and there that I didn't quite catch, but other than that, yeah, it was good. Again, I felt like Tom Holland was just speaking regular English. I didn't feel like they were talking like people from 1,000 years ago.
I mean, which is interesting because he's British, and so he's he's doing an American accent intentionally.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it sounds like Nolan did that because he wanted it to be more accessible for more people in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of these and thous would have really dragged. It would have made the runtime way more painful.
Yeah, and it might have just come across as, for him, might have felt like come across as just pretentious.
Only like Hamnet, because of the nature of the film and the characters, was able to pull that off.
Shakespeare, yeah,
because it's literally Shakespeare. But otherwise, yeah, it would border on pretentious.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, big applause for doing this story within the span of a movie overall. Yeah, done better than most, I think, would wind up executing it.
Making everybody sound like they're from Arizona or Southern California.
Arizona.
The Zonies. All right, you have any closing thoughts of the film? I think I've said everything I wanted to say.
Man, yeah, more or less. Yeah, satisfying movie to watch. Even if I'm not dying to run in and check it out like right away, I wanted watching it at some point in time. Yeah, I would choose this movie over the vast majority of things that I've been releasing, especially lately.
You didn't see they're going to re-release Fast and the Furious? Did you see a trailer for that?
I did wind up seeing that, man. I still live my life a mile at a time.
Quarter mile at a time.
That's actually crazy that it's only like 25 years old. I'm like, wow, in like 25 years, they did like, I don't know, 13 movies or something.
9,
like,
I think.
that is
8.
I like those movies for various different reasons.
Yeah, pre Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. There's a scene at the end of the one movie she was in where she basically is in love with the Asian guy that's always eating potato chips.
Oh, was that Han?
Han, yeah.
Yeah.
So like she's sitting on Han's lap. They're making out while he's driving, but they're like full on making out. He's just driving, and they're having a whole conversation. I'm like, when I grow up, that's all I'm saying. But all right, I think we can call it.
Yeah.
All right,
got a couple comments we'll close out with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are gonna see. You probably have already seen this. I do still recommend people checking this out. But yeah, moving on to the comments. I did see your comments and they brought tears to my eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless you and your families. Thank you. See your comments. Thank you. Also, your gun rival and Gunbound by name. The baddie is named Hexodus, sir. That's senior.
Nice.
Thank you, Rebel Sky.
Yeah, he was cool looking. Is he the Joker-esque almost?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys are great. Thank you, Matrice.
Welcome in, Matrice.
I missed to see if you guys like it in IMAX or should I go see it in another format and it's still okay. If it's not too much of a hassle,
if you can see it in IMAX.
You can see it in IMAX and you can get far enough away from the screen. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's definitely what I recommend people in general. If you're gonna see it in IMAX, especially true IMAX,
move back.
Middle row of the theater and back.
Yeah,
no closer.
Yeah, I ended up just because what happened was I reserved the seat where I wanted far enough back, but I wasn't signed into AMC, so then I had to sign in, and by the time I signed in, the seat was already taken. I was like, doggone it.
Yeah. I wound up doing a Fandango reservation myself because the AMC app wasn't working, and I was like, at what point in time can I try and unregister my seat and
I
pick
know.
it up? I was like, no, I'm not gonna take that chance because I was seeing it, on one of the 41 screens or whatever in the world that are 70 millimeter IMAX.
Yeah, so I mean,
okay, the Joker dude's like another baddie. Okay, I'll go back and unless you didn't send us Hexavis yet. If you work on them, send them over.
yeah. But yeah, we're gonna work on getting some of yours up on our socials.
Yeah.
So thank you. We
Genobi
appreciate it.
121, thank you. Yes, everyone, please hit that like if you haven't already.
Yes.
Which will then segue into.
You want me to just close this?
Actually, first next week, we're covering Witch Hat Atelier. It is an anime that is, I think, at least on Crunchyroll, if not
It might be on Netflix. But
Yeah.
it's definitely on Crunchyroll.
I think it's like 12 episodes.
Is
11, Yeah.
Okay,
I'll have to double check. I think
I'm gonna have to watch it this week.
Yeah, I'll be watching it this week also. I think
Yeah.
the season's done. It's getting pretty high praises. We'll see if we wind up high praising it ourselves.
So here, let me
the week after Spider-Man, brand new day.
Yeah. All right, let me do my blurb.
Go ahead.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has concluded our review of the Odyssey. If you would be so kind, if you have not done so already, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Ding 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 ding
so that you can be notified for all of our latest and greatest live stream movie reviews. My name is Austin.
My name is Josiah.
With the Super Cinema Bros. As we just said, we're going to go through Witch Hat Atelier. I would recommend, based on what I've known about the manga and its use of like perspective and
panel design
and all that stuff from a technical standpoint, from an artistic standpoint. That's what this manga, to which the anime is based on, was known for. It has beautiful artwork. So we recommend checking out the manga if you get a chance. We're gonna watch the anime. I haven't read the manga. I've only watched the video essay about it, and it got me geeked on it. It's normally not my first genre, but I'm not against it, and I'm gonna watch the first season. So we'll be talking about that next week, and then the week after that, if I'm not mistaken, is Spider-Man.
It's another big one. Spider-Man, brand new day,
and we may have somebody on stream with us.
We will have a guest. I believe August 3rd when we wind up covering that one.
Yeah, so stay tuned for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, we did it live.
All right.
And man, we're gonna wrap this up. God bless you guys. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his light shine upon you. May he give you his mercy, his grace, his peace, and his love. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Signing out. Peace. I gotta end stream.